Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So this video series is about romantic injustice. Okay. And a key part of understanding the romantic injustice in Revelation is understanding what romantic injustice is in general. Is it what a racist black guy or white guy would say it is? No. What a tribalist or ethnocentric in general would say? No. Is it what the churches would say? No. All these types of people lie. They have ulterior motives. What have you? Is it what the Jewish people collectively would say? No. I've never heard anyone tell the truth about romantic injustice in my life except for me. Because it has to do with the divine order. If you don't have the ideal correct, and you don't emphasize what that ideal is, if you just say Jesus, it's too general of a word. If you describe it the way the church is and all these other people are describing Jesus, it's being described incorrectly. Then you're not talking about romantic justice. So in this series, we're going to go a little bit longer per video, okay, to help you understand why I'm right. So far, I have 31 points, and this part 1 is an intro. Okay, so what inspired this video? Well, an attractive Filipina female. I've dated maybe 2 Filipinas in my life. Both of them were very attractive. Okay, one was shorter and dark skin, one was taller and light skin. And the tall and light skin one had 5 kids. This is not about bashing Filipino people or Filipinas. It's about something that actually happened that inspired me to speak on the issue of romantic injustice in general. And somebody who's considered indigenous or something to this effect is a good example to use. So what had happened was my brother came, my little brother, for a family meeting, okay, and him and my older brother were going to the store, and they said, hey, you want to come to the store with us? And I decided that I would go there. And as usual, I'm being filmed in the vehicle, right? You know, my little brother's vehicle. So I've been filmed in like, I don't know, maybe 10 vehicles so far, 8 or whatever it is. So I'm being filmed in that vehicle. And we're going to the store. Maybe we go to the store I usually go to, but not at that time. I usually go in the morning to try to avoid the crowd. So the staff there, they know me in terms of they see me there all the time, right? So they know me to some degree. And I usually go there by myself. And because I'm being targeted, I wear the same, I have a bunch of light blue masks, and I've worn different light blue sweaters that are similar to each other over the years. And the government does things in a way where I have to wear the same outfit. So I go there all the time wearing a light blue sweater and it's kind of khaki work pants and these old worn out white Cortez shoes. Okay, because if I wear newer shoes, it causes me problems because that's the kind of sick game that they're playing. Okay, so we go to the store, pull up, what have you. We walk out. It's 3 tall, light-skinned, black brothers, if you will, right? To kind of, add a little, comic relief to the story. We're walking in the store. My little brother happens to be wearing a blue collared shirt, but, doesn't look like a gangster's not a gangster, right? Where, none of us are gang members. But we all are kind of in fairly good shape for our age, in our 40s, okay? And, everyone else is like shorter than we are, and they look less kind of athletic, less tough, what have you. So it's a little bit, I'm kind of sensitive to these things. So it's a little bit awkward. And furthermore, my brothers have been told to not help me out, to not walk with me like we're part of the same group. So at times, for the most part, we're not walking together. But at times we are, and there's kind of awkward moments, right? And I have the mask on my face, and most people aren't wearing a mask, and I do it because they changed the way I look to make it so I look Jewish-ish, like a crypto Jew, but I'm not. Okay, I'm just ever so slightly part Jewish, and it never expressed itself in my look. Okay, I don't look like Bill Gates naturally. My head is a little bit wider than it looks these days naturally. Okay, and I use the Pope as an example how they changed the look of his face. He actually has some kind of lung issue, right? I forgot what it's called, where his face got bigger, but I think his face got bigger because of the technology and not of the lung condition. They do funny things like that to try to confuse the issue. So anyway, we're in the store, right? And I see maybe two attractive females at the time. An Hispanic female who's attractive, who's a bit taller, comes later. And one of them is a short Filipina female that somewhat reminds me of this first female that I dated, who was Filipina, the first Filipino of the two that I dated back when I was like in my late 20s. Okay, I'm 43 now. So she has, she's wearing the gang stalker colors. She has a certain way about her that's like a gang stalker. She has a certain look on her face, right? This like, you might say an occult look, right? It's kind of soulless, right? Kind of corporate owned, what have you. And, I kind of don't notice her. We walk, boom, boom, boom. So she gets in the line, and as we go there, she's in line ahead of us, right? And there's like 3 or 4 aisle, registers open. And so we get behind her, right? And they open another register, and so she goes to there, okay? And we're still in this line. I'm looking around. I'm trying to find a way around getting behind her again, because she got a nice, we'll just say it, excuse my French, she's got a nice booty, okay? And she has she's attractive, and so it's awkward, right? Here's these 3 tall black guys behind her, and she noticed me, and she knows I'm targeted or something. It's like an awkward situation. I don't like people thinking that I'm following them or stalking them or whatever. It's hard to explain the awkwardness of that situation, right? I'm sure you kind of understand what I'm saying. If you have any questions, put in the comments. I'll try to break it down. I want to spend all day explaining that part. And so while I'm in line behind her, all of a sudden what comes over me because of the hacking, because of the government technology, is a kind of anger, right? You might say it's almost unreasonable, but it's not. We'll get to that. And that anger inspired me to start writing down points for this video series in regards to why I felt that way. So the title of this series, okay, is Why I Felt Angry When I Saw an Attractive Mixed Filipina That I Knew the Devil made it so that she, that I knew that I knew let the devil stop her from loving me. So again, why I felt angry when I saw an attractive mixed Filipina that I knew let the devil stop her from loving me, and she herself obstructs romantic justice. So again, the title I just kind of added to it earlier. To make a long story short, it's about why I felt angry, and they're making it hard for me to say this part because they're obstructing romantic justice. And that's part of why I felt angry. There's the evidence that they obstruct romantic justice is extreme. So why I felt angry when I saw an attractive mixed Filipina that I knew let the devil stop her from loving me, as she herself obstructs romantic justice, okay? So she herself is part of the problem of obstructing romantic justice. She let the devil, right? She let the devil stop her from loving me at first sight. Now, some of you are some kind of social norm fanatics, right? You can't for the life of you separate the most righteous person that ever lived from the average guy. If I was the average guy, okay, and I made this argument, would it be reasonable? No. Because why should she love me at first sight? But when you're the son of God, the healthy female mind is going to love you at first sight. Especially, or if she's not married in a valid marriage. And all marriages outside the divine order, which is every marriage but my parents, is invalid. So if she was healthy, married or not, with 5 kids, 10 kids or not, that she would love me at first sight. I didn't even go as far as to say that. And no one has a viable counter argument for this. What are they going to say? No, you're not ideal. It's King Charles. It's retarded. It's Prince William. It's Harry. That's stupid. Obviously, I'm right. If you have any questions about that, because, your ability to understand that the sky appears blue most of the time, so to speak, right? And 1 + 1 = 2, basic arithmetic, your ability to understand these basic concepts like what is actually ideal, and whether or not someone should fall in love with the guy who embodies righteousness and handsomeness, right away or not. Whether brain function, healthy brain function. For example, when you see a fruit in the store and it looks healthy, you're like, I like that fruit is appealing right away. You see a cool looking car, that looks cool right away. You see what I'm saying? How many things do you know right away? So if your brain is functioning effectively, and you're a guy, for example, you see a beautiful woman who looks like a very righteous woman, right away, wow, I'm like in love already. So when an attractive female sees the Son of God, the most handsome person that ever lived at some point, well, always, but in terms of at some point before they fumed and poisoned me, she would fall in love with me right away. Okay, I can almost leave it right there. So in part 2, we're going to get into the reasons why I felt angry. I've highlighted some as great reasons, and some of them are just good reasons, but they're all at least good reasons. And even the fact that they make it harder for me to explain is a good reason to be angry in that situation. We'll get to that in part 2.